Just wanted to welcome everybody back again. Allie Lechner is here, and she's going to talk about something that was brand new to me, and it was Zumbro Ridge Cooperative. And Zumbro Ridge is located on North Broadway, just outside of Rochester. And so I'm going to let her talk about a new adventure they had there and how they accomplished it, and what's happened with their Zumbro Ridge Mobile Home Cooperative.
All right. Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Allie.
Okay, so yeah, we're located just right outside of Rochester, past Homes of Harmony, and we're on the corner of what they now call 55th Street and Highway 63. So Zumbro Ridge Estates has been in existence for a very, very long time, probably 70 plus years. It's one of the older mobile home communities in Rochester area. And I've lived here for 23 years. My situation was my kids were all graduated. It was me. I drove past this double wide home that was sitting on a corner lot in here. And I said, okay, God, this is what it'll do. And I've been here ever since. I have a kind of a private entrance because I'm on a cul-de-sac. So I never really ventured out into the rest of the community at all. I just went to work, came in that way, and that was it. Well, in 2017, the owners of the community decided that they were going to sell. And we were approached by a company called North Country Foundation, which is a nonprofit organization that works with people who live in mobile home communities and helps them get loans and situated so that they themselves can purchase the mobile home parks. It took probably about a year to get us to the actual signing of the paperwork where we purchased it. It was an interesting idea. We have a multitude of different types of people that live out here. A third of us are Cambodian. And so there was a language barrier. So we brought in interpreters and everything. Everybody agreed that we had gone through about 20 years of deferred maintenance with the previous owners. We'd all watched the community go downhill and lot rents go up. So, and then once we got to a certain point, homes started pulling out and we had many, many vacant lots. So laws have changed since the park was first built. It used to be a 129 unit community and the homes were much smaller. Now our community can hold 112 homes. And when we purchased in October of 2017, we had 82 homes that were here in the park. North Country Foundation got us connected with a place called Rock Capital USA. And Rock Capital strictly does loans for mobile home communities that are owned by its residents. They have attractive interest rates. They help you go through all of the details that you need to go through. Part of their deal, though, is that we stay in a partnership with North Country Foundation for 10 years. And that really gives us the opportunity to learn from North Country Foundation all of the politically correct things that we are to do on every level. A mobile home community is governed by the state of Minnesota, by Olmsted County, by Rochester, and then by the federal government as well. You have rules and laws that intertwine in all of those areas, but then you have separate rules and laws that are specific to those areas. So back to the neat part about this deal is that we became a cooperative. Thus 82 owners purchased the mobile home community. We did see our lot rents initially go up because of the loan structure that we had. We literally closed on our deal with $13,000 in the bank. There was $15,000 in outstanding rent. I did not get involved until 6 months after we had purchased the community. I watched, I didn't see a whole lot of action going on. Our old sign was still out there with a disconnected phone number. There weren't any new homes coming in. So I went to a board meeting, and I'm a nurse, but I have a previous life, 25 years of property management, where I specialized in redeveloping properties. And so I asked a lot of questions. Long story short, I jumped in up to my neck and said that I would put my expertise to work, put my ideas out there. Within a very short period of time, that put me in a position where I was the operational manager and the manager of the community, the redeveloper of the community, and the spokesperson for the community. So this is something that's very dear to my heart. We now have 98 homes in here, from 82 to 98. And those homes, the difference there, those homes are all new that have come in. And we were able to do that. I'm a walking, talking billboard, literally, for Zumbro Ridge Estates. I started my portion of this journey started in July of 2018. The fall of 2018, I started going to every affordable housing meeting that I could find in town. And Here to Stay was the first place I stopped. And from Here to Stay, lots of different speakers came in. I was introduced to them. Then I was brought along into different situations. Eventually, I ran into Steve Bokart. Steve Bokart at the time was the director of Rochester Area Foundation. I pitched this whole idea of what I had and how I felt that we could really offer affordable housing to other families. And he said, okay, let's put a plan together. I put the plan together. He then brought me to the Rochester Area Foundation meetings and brought in Mayo Clinic, First Homes, and I pitched the idea. They said yes. And what that meant was they were willing to help us fill these empty lots. And that meant that they were willing to buy 5 homes, brand new, bring them in here. And as they sold, the money then would recycle back to Rochester Area Foundation. In turn, they would buy another home and bring it out here. We entered into a 5-year contract. At that time, that contract was signed in March of 2019. So our first homes came in June of 2019. And those 5 homes sold. I also have a very good relationship. Our homes all come from Homes of Harmony. Homes of Harmony has worked with us, and they have given us their absolute lowest price on quality built homes in order to keep them affordable. That year also, Homes of Harmony was gracious enough to let me sit in on their spring fling in one of the models that would eventually be coming out here. From that spring fling, I, besides Rochester Area Foundation's homes, sold 2 other homes. And so they came out here. And that year also 2 other homes came in from Rochester Area Foundation. We've continued to rotate in that process, and that's why we now have 97, soon to be 98 homes out here. And the beautiful thing about this is that everybody out here owns an equal share of the entire community itself. That means that everybody out here has the equal opportunity to put their input in to what needs to be done in the community, how it needs to be done, and everybody can be as involved in the community as they want to be. We have families that are at every function that we have. We have families that they just want to go to work and come home, and that's okay too. One of the huge things that I saw as a deterrent to our community is that we had all kinds of children and we had absolutely nothing for them to do. So I set out to do a fundraising program and grant writing program to raise funds for a playground. This, you can see on this picture here, this great big area that was very, very low, water gathered there. And that was what our kids had to play on. We have over 100 children out here, and that just isn't sufficient. So I have a son who is great on the computer. So he helped me write several grants. And I wrote out, the first thing I did is I sent out almost 500 letters to all the churches, all the businesses that I could think of. And I got very little response. So then we started writing grants. I do have to say MBT Bank, though, they called me up and he said, you know what, I like this idea. And the owners of MBT Bank is Hanson and Hanson Foundation. And what you're doing is right up their alley. And this is what you need to do. So I did it. And in June of that year, we got a check for $25,000. And I was absolutely flabbergasted. And then I hit the media and different people started donating money. The nuns at Assisi Heights donated $1,000. Different banks donated $2,000 and $3,000. Separate individuals donated as much as $5,000, $6,000. The basketball court and the playground together was about $84,000. The basketball court went in July of 2019, and the playground came in last August. The children out here are ecstatic. You can see how we had to build up the land to get that playground so it wasn't going to be buried in water. And all of that land infill came from local area builders. And they just came out here and they kept dumping truckload after truckload after truckload until we were built up enough so that we could bring the playground in. And this has been a great thing for our kids, for our entire community, the families. Our basketball court on the weekends has young men down here, and you have all kinds of women sitting around in chairs cheering their guys on during basketball tournaments in the summertime. And the playground, you see the parents down there now interacting with their children as they have a place to play. This year, I'm raising funds to bring in picnic tables and grills. And as you can see, we only have one bench. So we need to bring in some benches. So I'm working on that. When we also first started, you got to understand some of these lots out here didn't have homes on them for 20 to 30 years. So there was water lines and sewer lines that needed attention. The gentleman that owns Superior Plumbing, he, as an owner and his equipment, came out and taught our maintenance guy and helped him with the first 7 lots, get all of those sewer and water lines done. Now our maintenance guy can do it by himself. We have companies like Rochester Rental that will donate their equipment's time to us so that we can get this done. We've had the electric company that has come out and taken down trees for us. We're overgrown with trees. It's beautiful, but when you haven't trimmed trees for 30, 40 years, they become overgrown. They helped us out tremendously. Asterios trees They came out and they donated their service and time to take down 6 trees free of charge for us. We have had so many organizations throughout Olmsted community that have heard about us and what we're doing and how we're able to keep affordable housing for families. Just come out of the woodwork. I get phone calls from churches asking me if there's something that their men's group could do to help us. This morning, I just got a phone call from Camp Victory. And last year we were unable to do it, but the year before, Camp Victory came out here and they did an entire week-long day camp for our kids out here. They called and they want to come out again this year. And with that comes along their senior kids that do projects for people out here, such as painting decks, washing their homes off, washing their windows. It's a humongous effort that has only been a blessing by the grace of God and by all of the wonderful people within Olmsted community themselves who believe in what we're doing. For the home prices, if I remember right, the last time I looked, there were like only 28 homes in Rochester area that are under $200,000. You have families that just simply cannot afford this. So this particular home right here without the awning on it and the cement was $68,000. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home. This gentleman came in and he put the awning on, he put the cement in there, and he put his burning pit in there. It's a beautiful home. And he owns an equal share of our entire community. This is a showpiece of our community. And so many people, once he did this, started building these canopies over their porches, over their driveways. The upkeep that other homes have done has been phenomenal. I believe at some point somebody is going to send out an email that shows you the actual homes that I have out here that are for sale right now. And you have some pictures there of homes that we have.
Here are homes I found from Homes of Harmony.
Yep.
And then here's
Yep. I just sold in December, we just brought in a home just like this one. And that, I don't know if it's this particular home, but a floor plan similar to this. And that home was at a cost of $90,000. They're beautiful. These homes are built out of complete stick house material. They do have extra insulation in the floor, ceilings, and walls. They have double pane windows. The utility costs on these homes is very low. They're nothing like what the older homes used to be years and years ago. All of the homes today are anchored and securely footed down with piers. The double wides have 36 4-foot deep piers in them, are underneath them, and they're anchored to those piers. These homes are not going anywhere. They're not shifting. That didn't used to be the case years ago. I continue to battle with North Country Foundation and Rock Capital at our House of Representatives and our senators to get these homes, despite the fact that they don't own the actual piece of land under their home, but they own an equal share of the home, to let these homes be a mortgage rather than chattel property. The difference with that is that chattel property is like purchasing a car. And we have one bank that we use, which is First Alliance Credit Union. They worked with us. The double wide homes can have a 30-year loan on them. The single wide new homes can have a 15-year loan on them. Normally it's 20 and 10. But First Alliance Credit Union liked what we were doing, and they made this deal with us, which is fabulous. But the problem is that the interest rates are higher. Depending on the person's credit score and their credit to ratio, or their debt ratio to income, will depend on what their interest rate will be. There have been some that have come in here with excellent credit, no debt to ratio, and their interest rate is still at 5.5, 5.6%. Obviously, you know, the house mortgage rates right now are much lower than that. It makes a significant difference. First Homes also came into partnership with us, and they have what they call the gap loan. So when people come in, they will give up to $5,000. If they qualify for a loan at First Alliance Credit Union, they will qualify also for up to $5,000 in help with a down payment. Depending again on what the debt ratio is and on what the credit score is, will depend on that interest rate, and will depend whether the person gets a loan or not. The situation is, in order to get the gap loan, they have to pay a $400 fee at closing for that gap loan. And like I said, it won't be any more than $5,000. But they also have to be able to put in at least $1,000 of their own money. And that has worked out very well. Many people are just starting out, or they're starting over. And with the $5,000 or up to $5,000 that they can get from First Loans to help with their down payment, that isn't a grant that has to be paid back, but it's paid back at 2% interest over 10 years, which is unheard of. So all of these things together have helped people to be able to afford to get into a home. During COVID, people were cramped at home. I don't know, we had many lookers that were in apartment buildings, and they wanted to get into something that gave them more space from other people. And in our lot rent is $375 a month. That lot rent includes your water, your sewer, and your trash removal, your snow removal. And we have also incorporated all kinds of activities for our kids. When the bookmobile starts coming back out again from the library, they will be here once a week. And then once every Thursday night after school, they're here for 2 hours, and they do activities with the kids. We have now a library within our community center that all of us got together and remodeled. And in that library are books and games. Children can take them home, they can keep them, and we just keep replenishing the shelves. We have many churches that are gracious, and they think of us during their rummage sales, their garage sales, and they will pick up good games and good books, and that's how we replenish our shelves. The library also does some of that, and then our own people within our community who have children that have outgrown different games and different books, they're all put in there. We also have a section in the library for adults. We have in the works AA meetings that are going to be happening out here. We now have our own translator on site because 1/3 of our community is Cambodian. I put together every year a massive Easter egg hunt. Today I just got done stuffing eggs that were this big, 480 of them, with candy, and then wrapping them in plastic. And from 1 to 3 the day before Easter, there will be a huge Easter egg hunt here. We have Trinity Lutheran Church. who every Valentine's Day now brings out Valentines and bags of Valentine candy for our children out here. Camp Victory, like I said, they will be here again this year for a week. And we have a huge 4th of July celebration. We have a great big national night out with a dunk tank, cotton candy machine. Our children all have their bikes or trikes or whatever it is that they ride decorated, face painting, and they have a parade. Usually the fire station is out here. The canines are out here and they put on a show for us. We try to make our community, as much as we can, a community within a community. Many of these families never go on vacations. These children don't get to go places and do things. So we try to bring as much to the community itself as we possibly can. I don't know if I mentioned that Rochester Area Builders 45 and Under Club built our children a brand new bus shelter. It's absolutely fabulous and our kids love it. And I've rambled here for so long. Is there questions that I can answer?
So Allie, who's going to take this over after you?
I don't know. I don't know. The deal is that COVID hit last year, and it really put the influx of homes coming in at a minimal. So I have a huge goal this year of putting 10 new homes in. That will leave us with 2 vacant lots. Right now, those 2 vacant lots have RVs on them. So that's my goal. I've talked to the board about this, and I don't know the answer to that question. I said, you know, I had an agreement with the Lord that I was going to do this. I was going to donate my life for 2 years, and we're now on year 3. And I'll see it through until we're done. But then I don't know. I don't know. There's some talk of, well, then once you're done doing that, why don't you just let us hire you as the manager? So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm not sure of the answer to that.
Well, it's going to take someone with with great passion for it.
Yes.
And what's interesting is how Allie and the community has been able to get the builders and other people together to help them accomplish this and provide such a wonderful place for people to live.
Yes. I will never shy away from saying that this entire project has been under the wings of the Lord. It's a complete prayer thing. It truly is.
And Zumbro Ridge has been there for a long time.
Yep.
I'm not sure how many years, but I remember when my daughters were in elementary school, and their bus would stop at Zumbro Ridge, and the 2 older ones graduated in '93, and Angela graduated in 2002. And when they were in elementary school, going to Jefferson, they would pick up Zumbro Ridge was on their bus route, because we live in the country not too far from Zumbro Ridge.
Yes, I think it used to be books originally.
Yes.
This used to be a strawberry patch out here, from what I'm told, years and years ago.
Yeah, years ago.
Yep.
Yeah.
And books put the first homes out here, and that I believe was in the, I don't know, I have to say, 60s?
I'm going to say 60s or 70s, somebody told me.
Yeah, yeah.
But the interesting thing is it's been a mixed community the whole time.
Yes.
There has been a wide ethnicity group at the mobile home park from the day it started.
So, Judy, could you run through the pictures again? I noticed Ann just joined and she didn't get to
Yes.
see those. And I think it's really impressive, Allie, what you've accomplished and the changes that have been made, and that you're building a community within a community for those families and for the children. I think that's the important thing about cooperatives.
Yeah.
Because what kind of started all this is about a story that was in the New York Times Magazine about a group of people in Minneapolis that there were 5 apartment buildings, but they basically had a slumlord, and
Yep.
they kept going to court to get, and eventually through the land bank, they were able to, land bank purchased it, and eventually they will own the 5 buildings, but they also are building a community within a community, and it's so good for their children.
And Allie, you made the comment to me that mobile home cooperative parks are not a rarity in other areas.
No, they're not. I believe, well, oh, I'm trying to think. I believe there's 9 within Minnesota, Wisconsin area right now. We're the only one down here. You know, I wish I was many, many years younger, because once this is done, what I think would be such a cool thing, because the cost of living is going up everywhere, is that cooperative senior citizens mobile home communities built up from scratch would be wonderful. Other cooperative mobile home parks would be wonderful. The problem with it is when mobile home parks come up for sale, they market their mobile home parks in such a way that the nonprofit agencies that help people that live there purchase the homes never see it. And one of the other pieces of legislation that we're also trying to get through is that when mobile home parks are up for sale, that it is a right or a law that all of the people that live in that mobile home park are given the opportunity to purchase the mobile home community. Because by owning it as a cooperative, you don't have to worry about, you make your parameters and your rules and your guidelines that everybody agrees to. You all work together, and you try to get your lot rents to plateau or go lower. Because we had 20 years of deferred maintenance, we have a ways to go before that will happen. We also inherited a sewer plant that needs to go into a different, we need to replace our sewer plant, and we're going into a sewer system that Hallmark Terrace trailer park down the street is going into, and that all of the homes on that street, as well as part of 63 and those businesses are all going in together. And by being a nonprofit, we're able to tap into some Minnesota money that will help pay our portion of that. So there's just a lot of different things that you inherit with a park that's been neglected for a great period of time. But once you reach that area, there's other cooperatives like in Fridley, Minnesota, that have been in a co-op for several years. Now they've reached a point where they're actually seeing their lot rents go down. That will never happen if you have somebody else who owns that park that is trying to make money off of it. And so I don't know, I just really think that this is a needed entity in today's society.
And you are outside the city of Rochester limits, so that people understand. That's why you have your own private septic system.
Yes,
That
yes,
Zumbro Ridge is outside the city limits, probably by about a mile,
yep,
because it's about a mile and a half from I would call the old Shopco North.
that's right, that's right.
I just read an article about investment companies buying up trailer communities as
Oh, yes.
passive income streams. And of course, they're interested in the income. They're not interested in the affordable housing or.
Right. And
Right.
what they'll do is we get stuff, I get phone calls every day. I get brochures every day. They want to, and there's articles on Facebook all the time about these communities and how lucrative they are. And they'll show you how to buy them up, do as little as you possibly can, and continue to raise rents, because you can raise rents twice a year. And that's what they do.
But for me, the biggest thing that I like about this is what they've done, not only making a cooperative, but getting the community to step in to help support them in their adventure and building this playground, the builders putting together a school bus shelter that the kids now are able to use at a regular basis, and the basketball court that the families are able to use, and bringing this whole community together like a small city.
Yep.
Because again, they're outside the city limits, and so they have to work together with all the rural issues you might have. Their electric is from People's Cooperative Energy and not from the city of Rochester. So they're working with a cooperative, and they're working with the entities to help build this multiple use sewer system that can be used by many households.
It's still today, the kids are already out there playing on the playground. And from the moment it went in, I drive by, every time I drive by, somebody says, "Thank you for the playground. We love it." And that to me means so much. It means so much to see the smiles on these kids' faces. And when I gave the pitch to First Homes, to Rochester Area Foundation, Steve Bocart, First Alliance, Homes of Harmony, I looked at people and I said, "You got to understand." I said, "I got a little boy out here that doesn't get to participate in gym class." And I asked him why. And he says, "Because I don't have a different pair of shoes to wear in gym." One, by the end of the week, he had a different pair of shoes. But that broke my heart. I didn't realize these things, you know. I was fortunate. My children, we had vacations, we had to play equipment, we went places, we did things. And then I looked around me and I started to look at these faces, and, you know, I had a swing set for my grandkids in my backyard because I have a large lot out here. And, you know, I started inviting the kids over to play on that little swing set. And I realized, you know what, this isn't big enough. We need something else. And these children are our futures. And if we all invest in little minds and we help to mold them into being the best person that we can be, I just think that's the best thing that we can possibly do for them and for our society as a whole. And in the process, families that are struggling and they have to both work, or even though they work a lot of hours, they're still stretching their dollar to make ends meet. We're giving those parents a glimmer of hope as well. And the transformation in people's lives that have happened out here is truly amazing to me. It's absolutely amazing. And I wish that other communities around here would become cooperatives. Yeah.
Any other questions for Allie? She's done a wonderful job of giving us a a total new picture of what community we have in Rochester. And I really appreciate that.
Oh. So Allie, what are some of the needs that you see in the future? And do you do fundraising, or are you still writing grants, or what?
I write grants until I'm silly in the face. I find that's the thing. I'm not real computer literate, so I find these grant things that I can write, and I write up what I think needs to be on it. Then I call my son and I say, okay, we're going to do this again, and he comes over and we put them together. Right now, the biggest need we have is we need picnic tables, grills, and benches, and that's what we're working on this year. And the community has really come together with our deferred maintenance. And I put together every month when it's warm outside, we all get together and we do things around the community, whether it be cutting down smaller trees and trimming them, things that don't need to have a licensed contractor do. And then we, of course, we all help gather it up and chop it up. And then we have down below, I call it down below, we have a pit down below where we're able to have a fire permit, and we burn all of this. We get together and we pick up, you know, in the spring, it's almost time now. We're early this year because the snow melted, but we need to go out and do a community cleanup after the snow melts, just like the ditches and everywhere else, you know, things are out there. So we do that. We get together, and if there's an older home in here that's owned by somebody who has a health condition or is an elderly individual, and the house needs to be washed, the deck needs to be tightened, painted, any of those types of things, people get together within the community and we do those things. We try to help each other out wherever we possibly can. I have people out here that when they mow their own lawn, they know of 5 or 6 other elderly people in the community that can no longer mow their lawn, and they really can't afford to be paying out the money that they had been paying out to have their lawn done. So this individual goes and he mows their lawns for them every week. That's just part of his week. That's what he does. Again, it's watching the goodness in humans, in people, has been so rewarding. From within our little community of Zumbro Ridge to the larger community of Olmsted County. It's a phenomenal situation that has taken place.
George, did you have a question?
I guess question is, aside from their rental fee, I guess it'd be almost like an association fee, do they pay taxes on their property at all? How does that?
Yes. Olmsted County does charge a tax for each homestead. And gosh, I've been here for 23 years. So, and I live in a double wide that is 28 by 58. And my tax last year was $297 for the year. So I think on the brand new homes that are coming in, their tax initially might be $500 for the year. Now, what may happen when this new sewer plant comes through, what I'm working very hard on trying to do is get as much of the deferred maintenance done as I possibly can before that is put in, so that we're at a point where we could actually lower the lot rent. Because when the sewer plant comes in itself, there may be a household charge. Now, when we first started talking about this sewer plant situation, we didn't have the number of homes that we have in now. And I suspect that we will probably have 110 homes in by the time it does go to fruition. So at that time, they were talking about $60 per household a month, which they then said they would put onto the property tax. And I sat back and I said, you know what? I don't want this deal. These people don't have $60 a month. So that's when I really said, okay, we got to get these lots filled up. The more homes we have in here, the less there is. We got to get as much deferred maintenance done as we possibly can, because if we're looking at the deferred maintenance being taken care of, almost all of our lots being filled, we could look at lowering lot rent, maybe $40 a month. So if there did come a charge that was $50, $60 a month, we could absorb it in the lot rent. Do you follow what I'm saying? So instead, if our lot rent was $375 and I lowered it by $40, but then the charge for the sewer per household was going to be $40 per household, leave the lot rent where it is, then they don't have that extra charge per month put onto their tax bill. So that's the method to my madness in trying to accomplish so much in such a short period of time, is to ultimately look at the bottom dollar for the resident themselves. Did that answer that?
Yep. Do you know of like, and I don't, again, I thought I heard someone had an effort, and I don't know what group this was, but they were thinking about trying to buy and even possibly renovate a mobile home so that they could place it somewhere as a starter home for somebody. It's almost like the way Habitat would work, except it's they're starting with a mobile home and they're going to try to use that.
Yeah, was it possibly Bear Creek Church that was doing that?
Yeah, that's who it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we're in partnership, believe it or not, with Bear Creek Church as well. Jeff Urban is fabulous. He helped me. That was an endeavor I left out. We had 9 rental homes out here as well. Okay, in the beginning when we purchased. With those 9 rental homes, there was another loan for those that needed to be paid off within a year of us purchasing. Okay, they had renters in them, and they all needed to be redone. You're talking carpet, paint, some of them needed roofs. Nothing had been done, and we were 6 months into this. That loan was due in 6 months. So that was my winter project between going to affordable housing meetings and pitching the plan. It was redeveloping these 9 mobile homes and getting them sold. And Bear Creek Church was great. They were able to help donate painters in some instances, carpet laying in some instances, and linoleum laying. We managed to get all 9 of those homes renovated and sold, which was fabulous. And we have a situation now. I have a home out here that's a 1981, and the person who was living in there passed away on the 26th of January. Right now, his son is squatting in there, and because of no eviction rules right now, I can't do anything about it until he just did something that now makes it so I can. So when that person is out of there, Bear Creek Church is going to come in, and they will do to it that like they did to one of our other homes out here, Lot 1. They came into Lot 1 and they put a new roof on, new windows in, new siding, on the outside. They re-insulated all walls and ceilings, which meant that, of course, they had to redo the ceiling and the walls, re-floored throughout, re-electrical and re-plumbing, and then they sold the home for the material cost itself, no labor. And they said that they would graciously take on this one as well.
Good.
And that's, you know, they also are very active over on Marion Road in those mobile home communities over there. They do a lot of that over there.
Well, if there's no other questions, we want to thank Allie and then remind everybody that Dave Dunn will be here next week talking about the HRA and the housing options that they have. And then the last week, Jim Miner will be here and he's going to be talking about the different housing options in Rochester. What's the difference between a cooperative, a condominium, a townhouse, and a single family home, and giving you some background on those things. So I thank Allie very much. I think this was a wonderful presentation and gave all of us an idea of what's really going on in our community and how through a lot of community partners and a lot of community help, we have brought a community together that by this picture shows they're having fun on the playground, and it's wonderful to see.
Yeah.
Thank you, and we hope to see you next week.